Hi everyone, so I'm just going to quickly walk you through on the planner and what are the possible things that you can use them for and how are the other sections being used in your homeschooling journey. So this is also something that I really wished I had when I browsed for planners and even purchased some of them, which um, actually was not the best. So yeah, so just trying to correct that and really hope that you will find this helpful. So that's the cover right there. Few pages of intro, my why I created this, and how you can be a part of it. So next would be for the table of contents. I've made it as simple as possible. Um, so these are the different sections, the specific pages where you'll be able to find them. So let's say, for example, Year in a Glance, it's pages 6 to 9. So when you're trying to just pick which sections you want to print out, then you can just easily go to this section right here and input the pages. Then you'd be able to print any specific pages because most of these pages needed you need to reproduce them. So I think that would really come in handy. Next will be for the mission, vision, and values. So let me just quickly walk you through on the idea behind the planner or how it is laid out. So this planner works in a way where you must identify like your bigger goals, break it down into smaller bits and pieces until you identify the specific action steps that you need to happen in order for you to achieve and work on your bigger goals. Now, for homeschooling, it's our mission, vision, and values for our homeschooling journey. If you haven't, or if you don't have one yet to your family, I encourage you to do some research on how you'll be able to come up with that. And it's something that you you will always come to a point where you have to go back to those. So let's say, for example, in choosing your curriculum, if it matches your mission and vision for your family in your homeschooling journey, so that would really this page would really come in handy. So next would be for the yearly calendar. So for this one, it would be next year for 2018. I have just divided them in 4 different quarters just for you to have any important notes. So these are the note sections on the side. So that's that. Next would be for your homeschool annual schedule. Most of us probably will not be homeschooling at the start of January, or we have already started. So you can take note of those information or any other dates that you want to keep track in your homeschool schedule. Next would be for resource planning. So the resource planning list, this is just a bit of an add-on when you're trying to map out the curriculums that you want to go through. So I mean, I'm I really need this one because it always it always happens that you end up buying not the ones that you need. But yeah, so it's really important, like when you're eyeing on a curriculum or when you're doing some research, then once you have decided on which resource you want to have, then put it here, take note of the price or where to get it and when you need it. So but then you can always just go back to that one and resist any impulse in buying resources or curriculums for your kids. Next would be for the course of study. Course of study for me, I use this per student. So I just list out all the subjects that they need to go through and what resource that I'm using. for that subject for the whole year. So let's say, for example, for mathematics, I'm using my pals are here and the because that was what I originally purchased. So I'm just finishing that one up, and the Rex Bookstores Primary Mathematics for grade 1. So I just have to put those in here on this spot. So that goes on for the rest of the subjects that you have. Next would be monthly intentions. So before I want to dive deeper on what's happening or what are the topics or the lessons that needs to be discussed or that needs to be learned or taught, I want to have the area where I can put what my heart's desire are for like my kids, my family, like let's say for the entire month. So let's say for example for the month of January, I want to teach them more about or even model or show them more about what it is to be generous, to share. So any topics that you want to have like a common theme, or not really a theme, but something that you would intentionally want your children to have, or anything that your heart's desire that would help you or would inspire you in your homeschooling for that specific month, then you can write these or those in here. Next would be for the quarterly lesson targets. So you can print these, you can just reproduce this specific page for the rest of the months if you want to. You can do that as you go along. So next would be for the quarterly lesson targets. So one of the things that I was having a hard time on when looking for a specific planner is where I can put the like a breakdown of first grading, second grading, or third quarter, fourth quarter topics that needs to be covered. So this is a really handy. I should be adding here some of my sections or pieces are missing. So should be adding here student and level. So these are student specific and subject specific. So what I do is I staple or I attach with this the pages of the resource that I will be using for the year. So let's say for example, in my example earlier for mathematics, I will be photocopying the table of contents for math and put it in here, so I will have that guide. Or you can just, it would actually take time to copy and paste them, but if you're not using a specific book or you're DIYing, then this is a handy spot to put those topics in place. Now, this planner right here, I encourage you to break your year into smaller cycles, which are the quarters. So the idea actually is for you to have that feedback loop within the quarter. So as you go along in your homeschooling journey, I've mentioned this in the first few pages in my why, that you will be able to figure out the things that are working, the things that are not working, the things that you will be eliminating, and the things that you will be keeping and or adding to your homeschool journey. Now, it's really important to have that almost just like a review of the quarter on how it all worked out for you. This would help you greatly in improving the things that you're already doing and get rid of those things that's not serving you. So I know like this is just my first year looking into being organized in homeschooling, but this has worked really well for me in building my business and working with clients, as we can clearly see or review and get the feedback loop on the things that are working and that are not working that we should be eliminating in the business. So this is like the quarterly progress tracker. This is the side by side of the previous page where you can take note of those feedback. You may need a bigger page for this. So just for now, this is the first version. Let's see how this works for everyone else, or I would really appreciate your input on those. So the weekly theme would be a page for um, setting weekly, like daily themes in your homeschooling. So if you're homeschooling multiple levels, um, there are topics that I would want to go through with the kids all together, like read alouds or other specific topics, like for my friends who are doing Charlotte Mason. Like, let's say, for example, for Tuesday, it will be geography, Wednesday, picture study, Thursday, nature study, and Friday, music and arts. So, those kind of feel, so you will have that idea or um, what it what a day looks like or what yeah, so it's just like the biggest things probably that you would want to tackle in your day on a weekly basis. It may not change that often, but it would be handy to take note of that, and just it's also easier for you to map out your day if you know these things, because you will have those specifics of what you will be anticipating to happen during that day. So I have incorporated one with a habit building weekly checklist. So it may not be, it may not, like I said, it may not change weekly, but we are what we repeatedly do. So it's important to have that area for our children as well to be accountable for the things that they ought to be doing, like let's say during for the week. So just a really handy checklist right here on what those habits are or activities. Hi, baby. That's really big. All right. So this one is for the weekly lesson distribution. Now we're done with the quarters. We're done. I have probably like skipped on the month because it's just a little bit too much to like to break it down. Um, I would love to go through it on a weekly thing instead of going through months and days. So weekly would be the next breakdown. As you as I've shared earlier, like I have stapled the table of contents for the math book, so I should be able to identify what topics are in there. On this one right here, I can break it down into like pages that I would want to go through, or for my children to go through, what are activities that I want them to do on a weekly basis. I know that some parents works better in giving weekly topics for the kids to do. I've read the book of Jabrabel that it also builds their confidence and their independence by allowing them to have that opportunity to choose on the things and what should be doing, and or how they would distribute the time that they will be spending on the different things that they need to get done. So yeah, some parents or some homeschooling families would love to do that, and that's something that I would also want to implement. That's why I'm eyeing on getting weekly targets set. So these are like weekly distributions. These are weekly. This is a weekly distribution page that can go per student level and yeah, subject and resource. So that's how you can actually use that. Then my daily sanity tracker. So it's nothing fancy, but I would want to highlight just a few things. What week is it? The date, the time, if you want to be that specific, or what you want to do. The highlight would be for the daily log. So the things that it's really tricky to take note of these. So if you're already keeping a journal, you know how it feels to go back and see the wins that you had or the great things that had happened. I know there's always blessing in every day that we go through. It's just sometimes we feel so frustrated or down, or we're so in the trenches that we fail to see these things. Now these prompts will help you pick out those tiny things, and as you go along the way, you will be able to see your mini victories that would really add up as well on how you go through each day. So when you're having a hard day, then you can definitely just go back to your daily logs and check how the Lord has been faithful as well in your life, with like wins and the things that you should be grateful for. So any small aha moments that you may have. So yes, maybe you can go under the ask for water, okay? So you can. Alright, sorry, your little girl is already bugging me. Alright, so yeah, those things. Yes, baby, I will finish this first, okay? Okay. Yes. Now there are 3 pages for these, so just a total of 6 boxes that you have probably from Monday to Saturday. I'm sorry, what? Water? What's Tima? Sister, where's your sister? Okay. Last would be the family fun activities. What's the dragonfly? You ask permission and taking now. Go. Here, okay. So the last would be for the family fun activities. So this could be like a brain dump of the things that your kids want to do or what you may want to do. You can have this page as is. I have added like contributed by, so the kids will have a feel of that, a feel of participation in it. So it could be like you can print a couple of pages different for field trips, or could be arts and crafts ideas. So you can have those listed and probably like segregated according to how you will find it useful for your family. So I think that's all for now, and I would really appreciate your feedback and how your feedback on this, or if there are suggestions that you may have, feel free to contact me. I will be adding a link to my social pages where you can reach me if you have some ideas that you think others may also find helpful in their homeschooling planner. So God bless and take care. Bye.